Have you been starting your mornings with foods that are actually destroying your health? You think you're eating healthy, but you are actually not. Today, we're breaking down the top 5 worst breakfast foods you must avoid, especially if you care about energy, weight, and long-term health. And this isn't just our opinion. We're diving deep into what Dr. Ken D. Berry, M.D. warns, and adding our own food Humanie analysis. Number 3 will completely shock you. It's something almost every family eats thinking it's healthy. So Zahir, let's start. Our viewers are curious to know.
Exactly. That's why today we want to do a deep dive into something really specific, something actionable.
Okay, what have we got?
We're looking at Dr. Ken Berry's YouTube video, the one called 5 Best Worst Breakfasts for Diabetics 2024.
Dr. Berry. He's pretty direct.
He is. And our mission here is simple. Pull out the practical, evidence-based breakfast ideas he offers specifically for managing blood sugar.
Good, because people need clarity. What I like about his approach, usually, is he doesn't just list foods, he explains the why.
Yes. Understanding the reasoning behind it. That's what we want to get into. The goal is to, give folks the insights so they can make their own informed choices.
And maybe even test it out themselves, like he suggests. See how their own body responds.
Precisely. Okay, so let's jump into the breakfasts Dr. Berry actually thinks are good for diabetics. First one up, eggs.
Eggs. A classic.
What makes them a winner in his book? What's his take?
Well, he really hammers home the nutritional side, calls them a powerhouse. They've got all those essential amino acids, the protein building blocks your body can't make on its own.
Right, you have to get them from food.
Essential. Exactly. And he points out, especially if you get pastured eggs, you're getting more omega-3 fatty acids, more vitamins, minerals. It's a big difference.
So it's like a natural multivitamin almost.
Kind of, yeah. A complete package. But the really crucial part for diabetes management,
Let me guess, blood sugar.
bingo. He highlights that eggs have a minimal, almost negligible impact on blood glucose levels.
Okay, that's huge. Minimal spike. Got it. All right, next on his good list, avocado.
Another popular one.
We hear so much about avocados being healthy, but what's the specific reason he includes them for diabetics?
Okay, so he zeroes in on 2 main things. One, the potassium, really high, like 500 milligrams per 100 grams.
Wow, okay.
And 2, it's remarkably low in carbohydrates, only about 8 grams in that same 100-gram serving. Plus, other vitamins and minerals, too.
Low carb, high potassium. Makes sense. Now, here's where he does something interesting, right? He compares it directly to a banana.
Yes. And this is a great comparison, really highlights the difference. A lot of people grab a banana thinking it's a healthy, quick breakfast.
Right, good source of potassium, they say.
Has potassium, sure, but less than avocado, around 350 milligrams per 100 grams. But the real kicker is the carbs.
Ah, how much higher?
Significantly. A banana's got around 22 grams of carbs per 100 grams compared to avocado's 8.
Okay, 22 versus 8, that's a big difference.
Exactly. And that difference translates directly into how much your blood sugar spikes after eating it. Banana causes a much bigger rise.
That's a really clear contrast. Makes you rethink that quick banana, definitely. Okay, good food number 3.
Bacon.
Bacon. Yeah, this one probably raises some eyebrows.
Right. Feels like a treat, maybe not a health food. What's Dr. Berry's angle on this?
He looks at it purely from the nutrient perspective again.
Yeah.
Essential nutrients.
Okay.
He says bacon, whether it's, fancy pastured stuff or just the regular kind from the supermarket, provides a full range of those essential amino acids and essential fatty acids. The same things we talked about with eggs.
Huh. Even the regular stuff.
Even the regular stuff. Now, he does add that the pastured bacon will likely have higher levels of omega-3s and maybe more vitamins. But his point is, even the affordable bacon delivers those core building blocks, protein and fat, without the carbs.
That's actually pretty reassuring for people, thinking about budget or accessibility. Right. It doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It's about prioritizing protein and fat over carbs that spike your sugar.
Okay, number 4 on the good list. Steak.
Steak for breakfast.
Now, that definitely goes against the usual breakfast ideas. Cereal, toast, not steak. Why steak?
Well, it's pretty much the same reasoning as the bacon, just amplified. He emphasizes that steak, whether it's grass-fed, grass-finished, or even a cheaper cut, is packed with essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, and tons of vitamins and minerals.
So super nutrient dense.
Exactly. Even a budget steak offers a lot in those key areas, and again, minimal impact on blood sugar.
It's definitely memorable. Puts steak and eggs in a whole new light.
It really does. It challenges those ingrained notions of what breakfast should look like. Focus on the function, not just the tradition.
Right. Okay. And the last one for the good breakfast options. Number 5.
Full-fat Greek yogurt with nuts.
Okay. That sounds a bit more conventional, maybe.
It is, and he presents it more as a good option for variety. For days you don't want eggs or steak.
So what are the benefits there?
It's still a decent source of amino acids, fatty acids, and you get some vitamins and minerals. He probably wouldn't rank it quite as high nutritionally as eggs or steak, maybe?
But still a solid choice.
Yeah, a solid choice if you want something different that provides protein and fat without a heavy carb load, especially the full-fat version.
Good to have options.
Yes.
Keeps things interesting. Okay, that covers the 5 good breakfasts, according to Dr. Berry. Now, let's flip it. The 5 he considers bad for diabetics.
Right, the ones to avoid.
First on that list,
Yeah.
oatmeal. This was going to surprise people, I think. It's always pushed as healthy.
Oh, yeah. The classic heart-healthy breakfast.
So what's his argument against it?
It boils down to one thing: carbohydrates. Oatmeal is made from grains, right? And grains are carbs.
Okay.
Your body breaks those carbs down into sugars, primarily glucose, which directly spikes your blood sugar, exactly what diabetics are trying to avoid.
Glucose, right?
And also fructose, which goes mainly to your liver and can contribute to fat storage there. Plus, he argues oats themselves aren't actually that rich in meaningful nutrients when you strip it all down.
And he points out all the stuff people add to oatmeal, right? Like sugar, honey, maple syrup.
Exactly. Those just pour gasoline on the fire, making that blood sugar spike even worse.
Man, it really goes against the grain, pun intended, of typical advice.
It absolutely does. And that's kind of his whole point, isn't it? That a lot of mainstream dietary advice for diabetics might be leading them astray.
Definitely challenging conventional wisdom.
Oh.
Okay, bad food number 2 is the banana. We already sort of covered this when we talked about avocado.
We did.
But just quickly, recap the key reasons it's on the bad list.
Sure. Lower potassium compared to avocado, yes. But the main issue is the much, much higher carbohydrate content.
Lean to.
A faster and bigger spike in your blood sugar levels. Simple as that.
Got it. Okay, moving on. Bad food number 3, English muffins.
Another breakfast staple?
What's the problem here? Is it just the carbs again?
Pretty much. Dr. Berry points out they're made from wheat. Wheat is, again, basically all carbohydrate.
Right.
So same story. Breaks down into glucose and fructose, spikes blood sugar, potentially adds to liver fat, and nutritionally. Not much value there, according to him.
It's interesting because sometimes people think like a tougher, denser bread, like an English muffin, might be somehow better than regular bread.
Yeah. There's that perception, but he's saying from a blood sugar perspective, it's still processed carbohydrate that your body treats as sugar. Doesn't matter if it's dense or fluffy.
Challenges another assumption. Okay, bad food number 4, muesli with berries.
Ah, muesli. Sounds healthy, kind of European, sophisticated.
Right. People picture like Swiss hikers eating this. What's Dr. Berry's take?
He basically says muesli is just raw oats, so very similar to cooked oatmeal in its effect.
Okay.
It's often soaked, maybe in skim milk, which adds more sugar we'll get to later. And even though it might have nuts, which are good, it almost always includes berries.
And berries are fruit, so
Yeah.
sugar.
Exactly. Both the oats and the berries break down into glucose and fructose. So despite the healthy image, it's another recipe for a blood sugar spike.
Wow, so that healthy halo around muesli gets popped too.
Pretty much. The ingredients might sound wholesome individually, but the combination can still hit your glucose levels hard.
Okay, and finally, number 5, the one Dr. Berry calls the worst breakfast food for diabetics.
The grand finale of bad breakfasts.
Cereal with skim milk.
Yep. This one gets the bottom ranking.
Why is this combo considered the absolute worst?
Okay, so he breaks it down. Most boxed cereals, they're ultra-processed grains, very little real nutrition left. Often they spray on synthetic vitamins and minerals to make it look better on the label.
Fortified with.
Exactly. Then you add skim milk. Why skim? Well, taking the fat out leaves mostly lactose, which is milk sugar.
Ah, okay. More sugar.
Right. So you've got the processed grain carbs from the cereal breaking down into glucose and fructose, plus the lactose from the skim milk breaking down into glucose and galactose.
So it's like a triple sugar hit.
Essentially, yes. Glucose, fructose, galactose, all hitting your system, spiking blood sugar, and potentially contributing to liver fat. It's just a really detrimental combination for anyone trying to manage blood sugar.
That really paints a clear picture. The processed carbs plus the milk sugar.
Okay. It's a perfect storm, really, for sabotaging blood sugar control.
So we've gone through the 5 good, the 5 bad, according to Dr. Berry.
Hmm.
What are the main takeaways here? What's the practical advice people should walk away with?
The absolute core message, the thing he repeats over and over, is you have to monitor your own blood sugar.
Test, test, test.
Yes, use a glucometer, or even better, a continuous glucose monitor, a CGM. Check your levels after you eat these different foods. He suggests checking at 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 90 minutes post-meal
Why those times?
to see the peak and how quickly your levels come back down or if they stay elevated. He really stresses that your personal data from testing your body is way more valuable than any generic advice list, including his own.
That's really empowering, actually.
Hmm.
It puts the control back in your hands. What spikes my sugar might be different for someone else.
Exactly. Become your own detective.
Yeah.
He also encourages you to just listen to your body,
But-
pay attention to how you feel after eating certain things, not just the numbers.
Makes sense. Any other key points?
Yeah, he throws out another interesting idea. He suggests that for some people with diabetes, skipping breakfast altogether might actually be beneficial.
Really? Skipping breakfast?
Yeah. He notes that for some individuals, it can lead to lower overall blood sugar and insulin levels throughout the day, fewer spikes to deal with.
Huh. That's a pretty radical departure from breakfast is the most important meal.
It is, and he acknowledges it's not for everyone, but it's an option to consider and test. He even mentions, I think, having another video about managing hunger pangs if you try skipping it.
Practical. Good.
And one last thing he suggests checking out his Instagram. Says he shares insights there about what he calls a proper human diet, which he believes is beneficial for everyone, diabetic or not.
So kind of a continuing resource.
Right.
Okay, so this deep dive gives us a pretty clear framework of Dr. Berry. Focus on protein and fats, avoid processed carbs and sugars, and most importantly, test how your body responds.
That's the gist of it. It really shifts the focus from just following rules to actively learning about yourself, becoming an informed participant in your own health.
So thinking about that, considering Dr. Berry's huge emphasis on your individual blood sugar response, what's maybe one small tweak you listening could experiment with in your own breakfast routine this week, just to gain a little more personalized insight into what truly nourishes your body?
That's a great question to ponder.
Yeah. This whole deep dive really was about trying to cut through some of that confusing noise around diabetic breakfast, using Dr. Berry's perspective as a guide.
Hopefully providing some clear, actionable ideas.
Right. And maybe prompting a few questions about those long-held breakfast beliefs and encouraging you to dig a bit deeper into what truly works for you.